Hello, how are you? Today I'm going to tell you about a combination of two foods that you should have at home, which are very affordable, easy to find, and are wonderful for satiety, blood sugar, gut health, and weight loss. You're definitely going to love mixing chia with apple cider vinegar. I'll even tell you about the right amounts, the best time to take it, and how not to do it wrong. So you're going to love this video. Stay until the end. You won't want to miss it. Before we start, I want to ask you, do you ever mix ingredients or foods in your daily routine aiming for some health benefit? If you do, tell me which one. I'd love to see your comment. I have an amazing food combinations playlist here on the channel because I really enjoy making these combinations in my daily life and to bring these new things to you. So if you're interested in learning about others, I'll leave this playlist down below. And if you like this kind of video, go ahead and leave your like. That's really important to me. It shows YouTube that you support the channel and trust my content. And if you know someone who also enjoys these videos, take the opportunity to share it with them. Let's work together to expand this chain of kindness. That's what I want here with the channel. Before we talk about this mixture, these two wonderful ingredients, it's good for us to learn a little more about each of them, to see what they have that's synergistic together, which makes it worthwhile to add both of them to our daily routine. Chia, I'm biased when it comes to talking about it. Chia is one of the seeds I love the most. I eat it every day. There's a video here where I talk that I eat 2 tablespoons of chia every day, which really makes a big difference for your health. Personally, I love it. It's a seed, and when you manage to eat at least 1 tablespoon, you get about 4 to 5 grams of fiber in that meal. So that's a lot. When we think about it, ideally we should be eating 30 to 35 grams a day, so we're already getting a good amount of fiber in that meal. That's really, really significant. And the type of fiber found in chia is also amazing because chia contains soluble fiber, and this fiber absorbs a lot of liquid. And when it absorbs liquid, it turns into a mucilage. We notice this when we take chia and put it in a bit of water, juice, or yogurt. It swells up, right? So it can change the consistency of whatever it's in, and we can see that it forms almost like a halo around it. It gels up without needing gelatin. So chia, because it has this soluble fiber, this fiber expands, and when it reaches the stomach, it stays there more noticeably, so it gives you an early feeling of fullness. In other words, you eat chia and then you can't eat much more afterward. So this is very interesting for those who want to control their weight. Since fiber has this slower digestion role, it's great for controlling blood sugar. It takes much longer for the food you ate with chia to go from the stomach to the intestine and from the intestine into the bloodstream. So this ends up being very interesting for blood sugar control and also for weight loss. Apple cider vinegar can also help a lot with satiety and blood sugar issues because of the acetic acid that is naturally present in it, which has been studied for a long time. Acetic acid can be present in up to 4 to 6% of the amount of vinegar. So for a vinegar, that's a very significant amount. And this acid specifically has been studied when we consume meals rich in carbohydrates because it starts to act on some very interesting points in the digestive process. First, it also interferes with the speed of gastric emptying. So this means that the food leaving the stomach for the intestine moves a little more slowly as well. So this helps with satiety because you'll have food in your stomach for a longer time. And it also helps, once again, with this transition from the stomach to the intestine and from the intestine to the bloodstream. So it helps with the rate of carbohydrate absorption. So when we talk about controlling the rate of carbohydrate absorption, of course, this is very helpful for people with prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, for those who want to control their blood sugar, but it also helps those who want to lose weight because we avoid insulin spikes, which we know can be related to weight gain, metabolic syndrome, and so on. Since this glucose enters the bloodstream more gradually, the tendency is to have fewer glucose spikes, which also helps keep your hunger more stable and better controlled throughout the day for a longer period because it prevents that situation where glucose rises, insulin drops, glucose drops. It becomes that metabolic roller coaster that we know can also negatively impact weight control over time. Acetic acid also seems to influence the activity of some digestive enzymes involved in starch breakdown, such as amylase itself. So this can further slow down the speed of this digestion and makes the conversion of starch into glucose slower, which also contributes to the control of glucose, the control of blood sugar. So super interesting. Another point as well regarding chia going back is the matter of the fats that are naturally present in chia. Because we know that chia, besides having a lot of fiber, contains very healthy fats. In 10 grams of chia, we can have about 3 grams of fat, with most of it being omega-3 precursors, which are anti-inflammatory. So when we think about the type of fat to consume, we say healthy fat, healthy fat. Chia definitely fits into that category because chia contains this type of fat that can help control inflammation in our bodies. And when we manage to reduce inflammation in the body, we can better regulate things like metabolism, insulin spikes, weight management, energy levels, as well as support brain and heart health over time. So it's an extremely interesting food for our cardiovascular health. When we think about this anti-inflammatory effect and we think about apple cider vinegar, this issue of controlling insulin is closely related because we know that insulin spikes throughout the day increase the inflammatory environment. So, since apple cider vinegar can help improve glucose uptake in peripheral tissues, especially in skeletal muscle, and it also helps people with insulin resistance, it can really help reduce this issue of inflammation, that low-grade chronic inflammation that many people have. I have a really cool video here talking about the 5 signs your body usually gives when you are chronically inflamed. I'll leave this video down below in the description for you. When we also look at the naturally occurring compounds in apple cider vinegar and chia, the role of polyphenols is very relevant. We know that the polyphenols found in both chia and apple cider vinegar help reduce oxidative stress, which is also closely related to insulin resistance and premature cellular aging. So when we think about this whole idea of mixing chia with apple cider vinegar, you can see that it works on several fronts. It supports digestion, helps with satiety control, contributes to better blood sugar regulation, and can also play a role in reducing inflammation. Still talking about chia and apple cider vinegar, when we think about digestion, this large amount of fiber, the improved secretion of enzymes, and everything else definitely helps. This also results in better intestinal function, mainly because of the chia, since this soluble fiber helps facilitate intestinal transit, excreting the fecal matter, making the fecal matter becomes more hydrated and moist, because chia, when you consume it with plenty of water, already contains water, to hydrate the stool, and it will have healthy fats to stimulate the elimination of stool without fissures, without injuries. So it's a very interesting option for you to add to help regulate intestinal transit as well. Another benefit can be for cardiovascular health, for cholesterol issues, because chia contains that amount of soluble fiber I mentioned to you, which is interesting. And soluble fibers also help excrete part of the cholesterol through the stool. So they help eliminate excess cholesterol from the body. And the omega-3, which is naturally present in it, has this anti-inflammatory and cardiovascular protective effect, and the polyphenols help with oxidative stress. The acetic acid in apple cider vinegar can modulate the liver's metabolism of lipids, of blood fats, so that's very interesting. So when they have this complementary effect together, the two of them, it's even more interesting when you can combine both. So if you're looking to improve cardiovascular health, control cholesterol and hunger in a complementary way, this mixture is wonderful. So there's also the question of how to use it. Because a lot of people want to know more about how to add it to their daily routine and basically think, so I'll take my vinaigrette, add some chia, and put it on my salad. That's a great option. It works really well, but remember that you can make other combinations to add this little mix to your daily life. Regarding the amount, if you want to have a general idea of what we typically consume on a daily basis, it's important to think in terms of average intake. It's 1 tablespoon of chia seeds to get a good amount of fiber and 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. But you should never consume apple cider vinegar on its own. So you take a big glass of water, add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, mix it, let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes to hydrate, and then drink it. That can be an option. Now, there's also the culinary option. You can add it to your recipes. You can even add it to rice, which tastes really good. It ends up tasting like that Japanese rice, a bit more tangy from the vinegar. And you can add a tablespoon of chia, it turns out really tasty. Chia doesn't taste like anything, but I think the vinegar in the rice goes really well. That tanginess is really good. Keep in mind you can use it on salads, vegetables, both raw and cooked, and even on chicken, right? You can add chia anywhere, and the vinegar can go in too, as a seasoning for that meal. It works really well with fish. So it's a great option to have, just a simple, natural way to add it to your daily life. Regarding the timing, if I had to choose a time to drink this little mixture in water, like I told you, the water with vinegar, with chia, I would drink it half an hour before the meal when I would be eating more carbohydrates. It could be lunch, dinner, I don't know which one it is for you, but that's what I would do. Half an hour before, because that way we can already get that feeling of fullness from the chia. When it comes time for the meal, you'll eat less and the vinegar will already start to help with this issue of enzyme secretion, and satiety will also be complemented, so it will help in that way too. Tell me what time you would consume this. I'd love to see your comment. I love knowing the times, how you think you consume more carbs, less carbs. Usually, I don't recommend this mixture at breakfast because I think it can be too harsh on the stomach. And it doesn't make much sense because usually at breakfast, we don't consume that many carbs anyway. But I want to know from you, how does this fit into your routine? Keep in mind that if you have any gastric irritation, reflux, or tooth sensitivity, if you've had a lot of cavities, for instance, or any issues with gastritis, basically, if you have a pre-existing condition or take medication, you might wonder, Patricia, should I be using this mixture or not? Always talk to your nutritionist or your doctor in your city just to guide you. Remember that this video here is purely informational and that obviously adding chia with vinegar is not going to cure anything you have related to diabetes. It's not going to be any kind of miracle. You have to help your body to help you. So having a balanced diet, regularly seeing a doctor or nutritionist, exercising, sleeping well, those things we already know. Tell me what time you would take this wonderful mixture. I would love to see your comment. Remember to like the video, this is very important to me, and to share it with anyone who needs this information. Let's work together to expand this chain of kindness. That's what I want here with the channel. See you next time. Bye.